grab your big book, your pen, your highlighter, and notepad and get ready to hear and apply some of the solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. To have a question addressed in a future episode of Noodle It Out with Nikki, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and Nikki is spelled with 2 Ks. To get a more interactive experience with Nikki as she noodles out life and recovery questions using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a link to her weekly Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting held live on Zoom every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The information to that meeting is in the show notes of this podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. My name is Justin B. I'm a son of an all-powerful, perfectly loving God and a qualifying addict, living in the miracle of recovery, and I'm here with the intelligent agent, spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation, and my co-host, Nikki M. Nikki, it's good to see you this morning. Tell me a little bit about what's going on in your life. Introduce yourself to our listeners.
Well, God morning, God afternoon, God night, wherever you are in the world, friends and family. What's going on? I'm Nikki M. I'm a soul surgeon. I'm a grateful member of many 12-step programs. And according to my big book, I'm a spearhead. And what's going on this morning is it's raining in Toronto. The weather's taking a change for the winter, which is for the worst. And I was laying in my bed because my favorite addiction right now is scrolling my life away and indulging in the cynicism over the state of the nation. So I looked at my phone. I was like, what's my schedule like? And it was 15 minutes. You better get your ass up because you got to record with Justin some solution. The other thing I just want to say is, what is my life like, or what's happening with me right now? I'm getting nothing I want. I'm waking up to reoccurring resentments that are eating my soul. And I have to fight it off every day. Some people will call it spiritual attack. Some people will just call it the dark days of the earth. But I have these, recurring resentments. That's probably for another podcast because, Nikki, I wrote a 4-step. Nikki, I did a 10-step on it. But what happens when the same thing keeps coming up? You see, and then you gotta fight the battle just one day at a time. So that's where I'm at today. And I'm really in a great space because I'm with Justin B. We're going to get into solution, and this too shall pass. None of this is real. It was all a dream. Oh no, it's not karaoke. Get in here, Justin.
Thank you, Nikki. We'll do a karaoke session sometime in the future. Maybe we'll figure out some cool songs to maybe not sing, but at least talk about the lyrics about in the future. We'll see. Maybe. All right. So what we do in this project, in the Noodle It Out with Nikki M project, is we take questions that we receive from listeners out there on the Noodle chat that Nikki has in her WhatsApp group. And we go through those questions and we bring them to the Big Book. And Nikki runs us through the Big Book, noodles them out, and we find solutions to that which ails us, to those things which are dragging us down and causing us to struggle. So grateful for all of you out there. If you're listening to this and you're like, man, I really love this. I'm finding help. I'm finding support in this, and I'm finding strength in this. And your higher power says, hey, chip off a couple of bucks. Feel free to do so. We're grateful for a couple bucks, a couple $100, whatever your higher power is saying. And you can do that there's links in the show notes of the podcast at rico12.com/support. And we're just grateful to have any support, not just financial, but word of mouth. Share these solutions with those you're working with your sponsees, your sponsor, people in your fellowship. Get it out there so that others can have the same experience that you have, or at least the opportunity to have the same experience you have. All right, so Nikki, let's get into this question that we have today. Today we have a question that was sent to you, and I'm just going to read it word for word here, and then we'll get into it. Hey, Nikki, I'm working with a great gal that is very willing, and I'm super grateful that I'm in service. I just have a question for you. We get together to work, and I ask her how she's doing, and that's great, but she doesn't call me ever to talk. She does a lot of outreach, though, but I kind of feel like she either doesn't trust me, or maybe it's my ego talking, or she doesn't want me to call her out. What's your take? Call me out if need be. I want to be of maximum service and know what my role and place is as being a sponsor. So her question is basically, how am I doing as a sponsor? And what do I do if the sponsee isn't doing what I think they should, isn't interacting with me how I think they should be?
Oh yeah, I've got this question. I'm just taking some notes here. My hand's going. It was like, number one, thank you for knowing. Thank you for knowing me, whoever wrote the question. You're like, call me out. Well, we're going to call you out because let's go deep on that part, what she says. What's your take? Call me out if need be. See, our program says, let's just jump right into it on page 58 here, where it says, rarely have we seen a person fail who thoroughly follows our path. So you're honest. You're really honest, and you know that we are gonna tell you the truth. Okay. You said, call me out, Nikki and Justin, if need be. And so you have the capacity to be honest. So that's why we're going to call you out and tell you this. Okay. We're having some, oh, Justin is always going to eat my soul, the internet, freezing, but they can send a man to the moon. We're not talking about you today, Nikki. We're talking about sponsees. Okay. So here it is, friend who wrote in. Your role is to take her through the steps. That's your job as a sponsor. It's to, let's go to page 95. See, this is what we're to do. So your job, I don't think you understand your job as a sponsor. And there is no word sponsor in the big book. We're just one addict or alcoholic talking with another addict alcoholic. Sometimes we're not even alcoholics, we're just addicts like Lois, who was addicted to what? Codependency, her husband's needs and wants, to her fears. So everyone qualifies here. So what's our job? Our job is on page 95. And I'm going to start here on the halfway down, Justin, where it says, never talk down to an alcoholic or an addict from any moral or spiritual hilltop. So I'm not going to talk down to you either, because where you want to be called out and you want your sponsor, it seems, to call you. So all we're supposed to do is simply lay out the kit of spiritual tools for someone's inspection. See, your role is to take them through the steps, not to do outreach. And Justin, because you and I come from the S rooms and I come from the Al-Anon rooms and all the Coda rooms, like your wife is in the Anon rooms, and they'll recommend doing outreach. Why don't you call somebody and get out of yourself, Justin? Justin, why don't you do 3 outreach calls a day and tell me how that works for you? Like, that's not this program. See, we're in a big book program. So, number one, you've got to sweep away all your prejudice, because what you've learned, person writing in, is fake news. Because you're like, she does a lot of outreach though. Now, I don't want to drop F-bombs on the Noodle Nikki podcast because we like it to be a family show most days. But Justin, WTF is outreach? Like, what the heck is outreach? So why don't we talk about that? Because that's fake news. What I call that in my language, in Nikki street talk, is circle jerking your problems. And I don't like that. I don't like outreach. I want to lay out the kit of spiritual tools. And it says right here, show them how it worked for you. See, we do offer friendship and fellowship, and you tell the person, we want you to get well and we will do anything to help. What's anything to help? Take you through the 12 steps, and then we can do outreach, whatever the hell that is. Talk to me about the outreach first, Justin.
Yeah, and I think that I like how you say, the word outreach isn't in there in the big book, and it's um and I love how you said outreach is similar to circle jerking our problems. I don't think I've ever heard it quite that way. Yes, if the only way that I am staying connected to others is doing what I call outreach, I don't know that that's the best way to do it. Now, I do know that connection with others, and I get a lot of calls, a lot of outreach, whatever that may look like. I get a lot of calls almost every day to talk through, situations, to noodle through things, just like what we're doing here, but it's a live noodle where I say, okay, well, let's go into the solution. Let's talk about this. But if I'm just calling, I'm gonna go here. I get a call from somebody very regularly, A text message comes in at about 9 p.m. Hey, do you have a minute for a call? And for a while, I was like, yeah, let's do this. And all it was I'm just calling to check in. I have to do this for my sponsor. That is not outreach. That does nobody any good. In fact, it just causes resentment and, well, it inspires resentment in me, and it causes me, not causes me. I choose to kind of snap back at the person and say, hey, look, it's 9 p.m. If your sponsor says you have to call somebody, you better do it earlier in the day because I'm going to bed, you know? So that's kind of some of the thoughts I have on that. Give me some feedback on that, Nikki.
Yeah, and I get a lot of those calls too. Some of you, hey, let's just call because we're all being honest for family here. It is rude to video chat somebody that you don't know. Don't just call someone on video. That's also another no, Justin. Someone will do that to me. It's like, I'm sitting here naked in my noodle robe right now. Well, I got my noodle robe on, but you know what I'm saying. And I don't want to be disturbed, or I'm doing something and you're FaceTiming me. You're not my daughter. You're not my son. Like, what are you, not my lover? What are you doing? Like these people, it's like, there's no, oh, well, here it is. I think it's page 86. God gave us brains, so use them. Now, page 102 says, my job is to be helpful. Is it helpful, as Justin said, to call somebody at 9 o'clock at night? I mean, that's just rude in general. That's in general. Like, think, use the brains God gave you. So I get what you're saying. Yesterday, someone called me, and you know what? He goes, Nikki, he knew the date. He's like, I haven't called you since like it was 2 years ago, and he knew the exact date. I love these people. And he was talking to me, and at the end of the call, I was grateful for the call. And we did touch base. Okay, outreach. Guess why? He's worked the steps. He can differentiate the true from the false. You see what I mean? He can talk to me with the big book. He's armed with the facts about me. Some of you guys call me and you don't like what I have to say, and then you get all angry that I've talked to you in a certain tone. Like, are you armed? Page 18. Are you armed with the facts of the people that you're calling, that you're doing outreach? Because that's like getting that call from the Philippines or India, a cold call when there's not supposed to do the telemarketing anymore. In 2025, that's illegal in my country. And I tell them that. I'm like, how are you, madam? And it's like, this is illegal in Canada. We don't do that here. And so they hang up very quickly. So so in my world, it's illegal to call me with your problems unless you've worked a 12-step program. Now, as Justin said, if you've worked a 12-step program, then you call me. We will noodle out the problem with the big book between us. We will noodle out. So then let's go on to what she says. So we've established that outreach isn't helpful if you haven't worked your 12 steps. You're just doing other things that are avoiding the 12 steps. And if you've done the 12 steps, you are commencing shoulder to shoulder, page 153, your common journey with your fellows. Okay, that's what happens. So that's like what outreach looks like. You know, we do get together a lot, says the book. Now let's go here where it says this. I want to go here because this is important. What she says this. How we work together and talk. But I kind of feel. I love this line, but I kind of feel. See, I kind of feel means like she either doesn't trust me, or if it's my ego talking. Well, number one, your mind is on you. What about me? You see, Justin, I see you going, yep. So now the sponsor is about me. She's all about herself. What about me? It's like this. I haven't heard from my son. Oh my God, Justin, he's 21. He literally lives 5 minutes from me. I was just traveling, as you know, to Budapest. I still haven't seen him since I've come home. I don't think I've seen him since my birthday, which is August 24th. It's almost November 1st. He did come and see, he came and see grandma when I was away. He mowed the lawn. Grandma even told me he cut his hair, which I've been waiting years for him to do. And I haven't seen it. He's supposed to come this weekend, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, I've never made it about me. Now let's go into why. Because I get to practice with my sponsees. It's not about me. See, they're so focused on, my son is 21 and so focused on him, his girlfriend I've never met, all these things that he's doing. He's 21. He doesn't think about me. And that's okay. I don't take it personally. See, she's taking this personally, the sponsor. She doesn't ever call me. She doesn't want to talk to me. It's about you. It's about you. So here it is, page 62. Quit playing God. It doesn't work. You're playing God. See, you're here. It's right here. It says if he's not, I'm still on page 95. If she's not interested in talking to you, see, it says in your solution. She's interested in your solution, working the 12 steps, but she's not interested in talking to you. And I'm going to tell you something. That sounds like a dream, Sponsee. Doesn't it, Justin? Come in. I see you laughing like,
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it does. Not calling me, 5 times a day with every little thing. And you know what? Sometimes you got to do that with somebody, and then so that they can get on their feet and tap into the power that can actually help them, rather than the sponsor who just says, "Hey, tap into the power."
like when your children, let's go here, let's noodle this out
Yeah.
real quick, because this is instruction for everyday life. So if you don't hear from your son or your child or whatever, one of them, because I know you've got a few of them, your son, your
Hmm.
daughter,
Right.
are you going to now go into panic? Or from the practicing these principles in all your affairs, do you understand, overstand, understand why you may not be getting the call, or your best friend hasn't called you, or people may understand Justin and go, are you crazy? This guy's not calling me. It's the World Series.
Yeah, and Toronto's doing fairly well, huh? No, this is good. I was just talking to somebody, a normie, yesterday. I was on a hike with him, and we were just talking, and this topic kind of came up. Of He asked me how my kids were doing, and we were talking. And he said, "So how often do you hear from them?" It's like, you know what? Not super often, but I trust that God has them, and if they need something, they'll reach out. If they need to connect, they'll reach out, and they know I love them, and they know that I'm here, and that brings a lot of peace to me. Sometimes it brings people to head scratching and going, "Why don't you love your kids enough to like freak out if they don't get with you every week?" So that's my experience on that.
I love that, because here it is, whoever wrote in, and it sounds like you need Al Anon, loving detachment. See, this is how we learn to parent. This is how we learn to be good lovers. This is how we learn to be good children or good friends, is because we practice. It's on page 60. We practice these principles in all our affairs. And where do you get the practice? With your sponsees, people. So when you, like you just said, like I too, even my daughter and I compare, will be like, she has friends that talk to the mom, calls in the morning, and they don't go to bed without that night, darling, give yourself a bedtime kiss every day. And my daughter and I, we're lucky if we talk. Oh my, I don't even want to put a date out there, because she FaceTimed me the other day for a minute, because whatever, she was doing something and wanted me to see it. But we don't talk, if we're lucky, once a month. And so if I start comparing, I'll be like, oh my God, I'm a shitty sponsor. I'm a shitty mom. I'm a shitty wife. Come on, Justin, go deeper. My Mr. Luxembourg and I are in a long distance relationship, 7 years. I've gone 3 months without talking to this guy. And can you imagine where my thoughts might go? Like, think about that. What do you, no, it's actually better we don't talk, because we have nothing to talk about. Nothing's changed. We're still the same, doing the same thing. Nothing has changed. So he's okay. I'm okay. And so I want to say, this is more about you, friend who wrote in, because this is all your ego talking. What about me? They're not giving me enough of time. They're not giving me enough attention. See, your job, remember what we said, is to lay out the spiritual toolkit and take them through the steps. That's it. It's like this is, yes, we find some friends. I've sponsored so many people, Justin. So many have been on your podcast, on the Rico 12 sponsor, our Friday meeting that we have. And some of these people I've never spoken to again. And we had some intimate personal relationships, and they'd walk by the street and I wouldn't even know who they are. I've had some of you've come to my home. One of you flew your family up from Mexico, stayed in my home, and I never heard from you again. You understand? Some of you are at my house almost every day. You understand. Some of you I talk to all the time. Like this is this, and then go deeper. This is where you learn your loving detachment with family, especially right now as things are changing after 2020 and the pandemic and COVID. We're in 2025. I don't speak to half. No, I want to say three-fourths of my family, not because I don't love them, not because they don't love me. We went on different paths, totally different views, systems. And I used to judge. I used to go, how can you not be with your family forever? You know, those people who fly solo and they don't see their family every 20 years. But now I understand why. It's a big life. You know, that was one part of my life. That's one part of your life with this sponsee. And it sounds like your sponsee's independent. She needed a kick-ass sponsor, and I know you're one because you private messaged me this message, and I thought it'd be wonderful to talk about anonymously. So I know you're serious. You're buckled in to the middle of the herd, but you're used to people maybe. That's what I said. I think I asked on this question. I said, this is what I responded. I said, is your sponsee different than your other sponsees? See, Justin, you still have a daughter, and I know she talks to you almost every day. I think she lives in your house. She's going to find time for you. But your other one, I think it's your son. He's married with a daughter, and you got a grandbaby. They have their own life. They're not going to talk to you every day. So maybe this sponsee is different. And then I put, no two humans are the same. And then I said, she may be more independent and not needy. It's about showing a person how to sponsor, not outreach. What are your thoughts on that? And then I'll find a big book quote because I've got one already.
Yeah, so I'm working with a newcomer here, and we're going through the steps in the workbook, and it's somebody who initially has been very needy, but I see that transitioning as he gets more and more into the solution, and we get through the steps, and I set him free, and I may, like just like what you said, I may never hear from him again. I may see him in a room every once in a while, and send a quick message back and forth saying, "Hey man, it's good to see you. How you doing? How are things going?" But it may not be a regular thing, and I think that it's really cool to have sponsees who you stay in contact with for years on a regular basis. But it's also really cool to see somebody go through the steps and spread their wings and go and spread the message with others. And you just don't see them very often. And when you do, they're still in a good place. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. Any further thoughts, Nikki?
Yeah, this is a life instruction book. Excuse me. It says on page 28, it's a design for living. See, this is a design. Nikki, this isn't just how you sponsor. So this is not about your sponsee, my friend who wrote in. And I love what Justin just said. They're needy at first, and then they get, it says, many will pick up their beds and walk again. I think that's on page 19. Like, that's what the whole point is. I would never speak to Mr. Cameron F again. He's my neighbor, lives directly across the street. Um, he doesn't really commence shoulder to shoulder. He'll take people through the steps. And he said to me, go create your own 100, meaning don't call me again. and people have called me and goes, Cameron doesn't do aftercare, and Cameron doesn't. And I'm like, yeah, he taught me that too. And it's like we commence shoulder to shoulder. I do a little bit different. I will still set an appointment after we've worked the 12 steps. I will set a once a week hour appointment to check in. You're not going to call me if you're not sponsoring. I actually had a guy yesterday go, Nikki, I don't have a sponsee. Will you still talk to me? And I said, of course I will. You're my brother now. And I get it. You've had a sponsee. You're in the middle of that. And sure as shit, that day he got one. That night I said, we'll speak next week. But if you don't have a sponsee, you're dying because that's your medicine. So this is where I want to go with this friend. And then you can take us out, Justin, which is here. See, page 63. When we sincerely took such a position, what position, Nikki? God's business, not your business. Not how many times your child, your sponsee's calling you. Not thinking about why they haven't called you. Why hasn't he texted me back? Maybe the guy you just started seeing, madam, has a job. Maybe he's a single dad. Maybe he's taking care of a sick aunt like me. You see what I mean? Like everyone is so, he didn't call me back. He's not talking to me. She's not calling me. They don't love me. It says here you're less and less interested in your plans and designs. It says your only purpose on page 77 is to serve. Your only job is to be helpful. And it's not helpful to think about your little plans and designs and your needs. Like, this is radical. This is because if she's acting, if he or she, the person who wrote in, is acting like this about their sponsee, imagine how they're taking hostage the people they really love. And so I'll end here and then take us out. It's really on page 133, and here it is. When trouble comes, and I think it says if trouble comes, let me turn there. Menopause, everybody, and internet weirdness. When trouble comes, but if, it says, avoid the deliberate manufacturing of misery. Let's start there. And you're deliberately manufacturing misery by thinking. See, your thought life is on a person that you probably barely know and why they're not calling you enough. Think about that. That's your thought life. So your thought life should be, I'm a spearhead. I have people to help. I'm a child of God. God will do for me. See, this is, I got to smash the idea. I'm like other people. The grouch and the brainstorm. I don't get to brainstorm page 66 about who's calling me and when they're calling me and why they're calling me. I have to be prepared for my phone never to ring again by anyone I love. This is how radical the program is. So but if I cross it out and put when trouble comes, like my sponsee's not calling me. Oh, like the like the government, like me trying to find a new bed for Auntie who's 96 in a broken bureaucratic system in Canada, healthcare system. I'm waiting for people to call me back. But what happens when they don't? But when trouble comes, I'm to cheerfully capitalize on it. Thank you, God. This is an opportunity to practice patience. Auntie's not dead. She's safe in where she is right now. She will get what she needs because remember, Nikki, when you were crying in the hospital, banned in COVID from seeing Auntie because they wouldn't let unvaccinated people in the hospital. And now yesterday you were with her eating all her food because she's not eating much, Justin. She fell, and so she doesn't want to eat. I'm like, I'll eat that beef stroganoff that your house makes you. I'll take that extra sandwich in your dessert. She's like, thank you, dear. See, it's that simple, everybody. So stop worrying, stop thinking about what other people are saying, doing, being, and keep the focus on yourself, and God will take care of the rest. Does that make sense, Justin?
Yeah, I think so. And I think how I want to take us out is back on page 63. You started with the first half of the paragraph. I'm going to read the last half of the paragraph there at the top of 63. As we felt new power flow in, as we enjoyed peace of mind, as we discovered we could face life successfully, we weren't dependent on someone else reaching out to us to validate us and make us feel like we're doing something good. We felt that peace of mind and discovered we could face life successfully through that new power that comes in. As we became conscious of His presence, God's presence, we began to lose our fear of today, tomorrow, or the hereafter. Lose fear that my sponsee isn't calling me to check in. Lose fear of my parents, my kids, my whoever aren't making me the center of their lives. Well, no, that's not what they're supposed to do. I should not be the center of anyone's life. I should be pointing them to that power higher, greater than them that should be the center of everyone's life. And we were reborn is the last sentence in that. And when I am in that place, I feel reborn. I feel like, you know what? I'm good where I'm at, and I'm trying to be of maximum service to someone else and lift them and point them to where they also feel good with where they're at and do the same thing over and over again. And that's where the solution is in my mind, is getting outside of thinking of what other people think of me or focusing on me, and getting to where I'm at peace with what my higher power wants me to be doing, and doing that to the best of my ability. Anyways, everybody, keep coming back. Get on this path. Get focused on that power greater than self. And don't worry about what other people are thinking or saying or doing around you or in relation to you. Let's trudge this road of happy destiny. Work it. You are worth it.